Hello, Marvel Strike Force fans. This is your friend, the Fasting Comic Guy here. I hope you liked that new custom intro that I made. I actually got that audio I did many years ago when I was in a course at SATE for new media production and design. So that's actually all custom and everything like that. And even the back, well, everything on it is completely custom. I just did it all on After Effects. I'm all happy with the way it turned out and everything like that. So I'm starting out today by just showing the extremely crazy offer that Next has. I'm like, look at that, $70 to unlock Red Skull. I can't even afford that for this channel. I really wish I could because I would love to do a first impressions on him, but I can't do it. So today's video is actually going to be on positioning and placement of your characters in the game, because actually placement does have a lot to do, because a lot of the characters have abilities that require you to do things like, well, it says like adjacent. So say you can give like your adjacent allies a buff, or it will attack adjacent characters. So that's what I'm doing here today. First off, we are going to start off with the basic setup right here. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's your basic team has 5 characters, and that's the way they pretty much go in the game. So after that, so we're going to talk first about chains. So chains basically go from, it's like the next adjacent character. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So say you start off attacking number 1, then you would go to number 2, then you would go to number 3, then number 4, and then number 5, depending on how many extra targets it can do. So for example, we will start off with Spider-Man. Spider-Man's got a cool ability called the Web Slinger, and in it says attack primary target for a bunch of damage, chain to 1 to 3 targets. If you max it out, it can chain up to 3 targets. So essentially, when you go to do that, it will start off, say you start off with number 1, and then it would go to number 2, 3, and up to 4 at the maximum, which is pretty cool. So say we decided to check out one of the newer characters. We checked out the Symbiote Spider-Man, who is one of my favorite guys. I've been working on him quite a bit. And so let's say his attack is the Symbiote Slinger. So basically, with that, attack primary target for a bunch of damage, rebound chain to 2 targets, and apply defense down. So basically, again, with that, it would be the start off with number 1, and then it would go to number 2, and then to number 3. So that's how chains work, basically. And most of the time, they will stop if there is a counter. So say they had a whole bunch of counters on there. Once the chain starts, if they do hit a person with a counter, then they will stop the chain. Now, as you saw at the last attacks, they did have this attack cannot be countered. So after that, we have things called adjacent, which pop up frequently. And with the adjacent, you can do like basically it's when a character attacks and it will do damage to the adjacent target. So here we have Rocket Raccoon, who has one of his basic ability is the Rocket Fire, and what that does is it attacks the primary target for so-and-so damage with a 10% chance to crit, and attack all adjacent targets after that. So essentially, say he attacks number 3, then when he attacks number 3, will do splash damage to 2 and 4. It will leave 1 and 5 alone, unfortunately. So after that's basically with the attacks on how the adjacent works with chains, and the how the positioning works with chains and with the adjacents for the attacks. Now, when you're positioning a team, so say you have a team like the AIM team, for example. Now, with the AIM team, they have a couple of cool little buffs that help out your team, like basically with the positioning. So that's the main thing about why I made this video, is with how the positioning works. So in there, your aim assault has something called juicer. Now it's like on turn, change speed bar by 10% on self and adjacent aim allies. So if you look here, the aim assault is right there in the back corner where number 2 would be, and when his turn goes, he will give plus 10% turn meter to Graviton and the aim monstrosity. For another thing that they do is the aim monstrosity also has a cool ability where he basically, it's his special or ultimate. I'm not sure because they have 3, so I'm not sure which one the middle one is, but it's his attack basically. It's his good attack, and when he does his attack, he gains offense up and applies offense up to adjacent aim allies. So with him, it would be the 2 people behind him. So it would be the aim assault and the aim security. Now, unfortunately, Graviton, like if I could give it to Graviton, it would be awesome. So it's kind of like with the aim assault, you have to choose, what do I want to do? Do I want to give Graviton offense up, or do I want to give him speed bar? And he can't have both. Like the aim monstrosity, he can have both, and the aim assaulter can't have both because they're both applying them with themselves basically. Unfortunately, Graviton can only choose one or the other. If I moved Graviton over here where aim security was, he would get the offense up, but he wouldn't get the speed bar up, and then the security would get the speed bar up. So that's how that works. Now there's another team, because I want to do it with multiple teams so that people can get this a little bit more, understand it a little bit more. Now, we got the standard BKT team, one of the most used raid teams in the game. So we will start off with the first ability that Star-Lord does. And what Star-Lord does is pretty cool. Basically, he will do something called improvisation, which is on turn 50% chance to generate 1 to 2 ability energy for adjacent allies, plus 1 to 2 abilities to guardian allies. So basically when this goes off, it will go straight to Rocket right here, because the main thing for the BKT team is to make Rocket do his ultimate over and over again. So the more energy you feed him, the more damage he'll do. And on top of that, when you go the other part of the BKT team for the adjacent buffs is with Thanos. Now that's called Titan Eternal. And basically on that, when a character dies, he will generate 2 ability energy for self or any adjacent cosmic ally. So in this case, he would get it for himself, or Minerva would get it, or Rocket Raccoon would get it. So yeah, that's pretty cool in the way that works. So that's the basic rundown on how the adjacent and the chains work in the game. I will show you some examples of how they work also with current gameplay. Another thing about it is with the Brotherhood team, there is when Magneto does his good attack where he pulls everybody in, called Magnetic Vortex. He does, basically when he pulls everyone in between all these numbers are like kind of hidden numbers that you don't really, it's like Alpha 1, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, we'll call them that. And when everyone gets pulled in together, that will actually make it so that all of them are close enough where adjacent doesn't really count. So basically, the space here where you see Star-Lord and Thanos, there is a hidden number right there that also counts as adjacent to Thanos. So say there was like a minion here, you could theoretically throw a bunch of energy to that minion. Right between Rocket and Minerva, same thing, there's a character there. Between Thanos and Groot, there's a character there. So if you had characters in all those areas, and then Pyro did his special ability where he lights everyone up and gives everyone bleeds, I believe it's called pyrotechnics. So if that he did it to Thanos, and there were characters in between Star-Lord and Thanos, Groot and Thanos, Rocket and Minerva, all these characters, including Thanos, would get the bleed. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyways, that's just a little bit on how the adjacents and the chains work. So now we will go over to the next part of the video with the actual gameplay. Alright, here we are. I'm going to do it with a raid. So we have the Ultimus Raid 6 here. As you can see, some people have already started. Look at those Alliance people working hard. Good for them. Okay, so here I am. I'm going to start this up. And I will do things first with the Spider-Verse team to show how the chains work. So where is my Spider-Verse team? Here they are. Alright, so here we go. And I'm just going to... Alright, so we start things off with Carnage. I'll just have him do a random attack, because... Alright, so the first ability that we had was this one right here. And basically it's supposed to chain up to 2 characters. So I'm going to attack Mordo right now. And when I do it, 1, 2... so there wasn't a person basically here that he could actually chain to. Next person that we'll have will be Spider-Man. So with Spider-Man, I should be able, so if we do Loki here, if I do his web slinger here, 1, 2, 3, and yeah, so that's basically how those chains work with the game right now. And then we will do, next we're going to do the BKT team, and you will see how Rocket's basic will attack multiple people, and then you will also see how Thanos' ability and Star-Lord's ability also gives everyone extra abilities. Alright, so here's our BKT team. As you can see, we got it's not going to do exactly what I want, but with the way everyone is standing around. So if I click on the shield assaulter right here, basically all I got, when I do this attack, it should do adjacent for the Iron Man character. So when I do that, see, that's where he did his attack. And for Star-Lord with his passive, basically he should also generate random. There it was. He gave his energy to Rocket right there. And then when a character dies, you will also see Thanos do some abilities. When his passive goes, it should give either him, Rocket, or Minerva. So when someone dies, someone's going to die right here because Rocket got a bunch of energy. So now it's going to go, his passive is going to go nuts. Tiny Eternal. Now when we do this next one, it should, where is it? Okay, so we should get 2 characters coming in. Oh, I don't think they're close enough for the adjacent, unfortunately. Let's see here, will it count? No, so she's just far enough away basically. So right here is where that alpha character would be. So basically she's at 1, right behind her would be 2, and then Vision right now is 3. So between Vision and Quake is actually a little hidden one that would also count for the adjacent, but unfortunately there's no one there, so you can't actually see it. And we'll just finish up this battle, and I'll try and do one more just to maybe we'll be lucky and get one with a lot of characters to go over. There's Quake dead. Alright, let's do this again. Alright, so if you look at this group here, basically the assaulter right there is, the shield assaulter is 1, Rocket would be 2, security would be 3. Then we have 4 for Iron Man, and this one right here would be the 5. So this character here is actually like the Alpha 5, the one that's hidden, and same over here, another hidden one. So right here, here, and between Rocket and Iron Man would be a 1. So in theory, with the adjacents, Rocket's attack should hurt both Rocket and Iron Man, which it did. See, because Rocket was number 2 and Iron Man was 4 and Shield was 3. So now we'll just auto this and I'll keep talking as this thing goes. So when she attacks, so one of the characters is attacking one of these guys, basically the way the Shield security character over here, these guys are also considered adjacent. So if Rocket is basic on the Shield security here in the corner, Rocket here would get attack damage and the Assault would get the splash damage. Right now Rocket's just going to basically clear the entire board. So yeah, that's basically my video on the placement and positioning of characters. I hope it was helpful, if you did think it was helpful, because I know when I was first making teams and positioning, I wasn't doing them entirely right. I didn't really realize how important it was for the way where characters had to be. So basically, yeah, I wasn't doing it right at all. And through my research and through trial and error, I managed to figure it out, and with the helpfulness of the community. So, and watching other YouTube videos. So yeah, if you thought that was helpful, please hit the subscribe button on the left, and please check out one of the other videos on the right. If I forgot anything, please leave a comment below, and yeah, have a good day, have a good night, and have a good morning. Peace.